Welcome to everyone joining me live for tonight's practice and to everybody joining at a later date. It's going to come on over to the mat and we're going to start laying down tonight. So first of all, just transition down to being on your back. And you can either have the legs long if that feels comfortable for your spine and just let the feet relax, or you can bend the knees, feet flat. Try taking the feet slightly wider than the hips and let the knees drop in. So we want to find a position that feels really restful for the body. And once you've chosen either the legs bent or the legs long, just allow the body to soften down into the mat. And just begin to become aware of your body. So scanning through from the top of your head, allow the back of the head to really release into the mat. Let the shoulders drop. Soften the face, relax the jaw. Allow the ribs to be heavy. Soft through the tummy, just let the breath drop naturally. Let the hips soften, let the legs just release whatever position they are in. And then we're going to become aware of the breath. So just notice how you are breathing now, just taking note without trying to change it in any way. And then we're going to begin to deepen the breath and bring it under a bit more conscious control. So we're going to drop and do full diaphragm breathing, dropping the breath right down into the belly. And we're going to see how long and deep and slow we can make the breaths. So beginning just inhaling through the nose, allow the breath to drop all the way to the tummy until you feel it rise and completely fill. Let it travel up through the rib cage, the upper chest, till you feel you've breathed in as much as you can, and then just let that breath go. Do a few more breaths like this. Tonight's practice is going to be really restorative and gentle. We're going to do some good lingering stretches, and we're going to encourage the body, the brain, the nervous system to just rest as much as we can. So our breath prayer is going to reflect that. And it's just simply, I rest in you. So as we inhale, you're just going to have the words in your head, I rest, as that breath just comes into the body. And then as you exhale, it's just in you. So inhaling, I rest. And exhaling, in you. And then I'm just going to be silent for the next minute. And you're just going to do that as much as you can. If you find that you're thinking other things, that's completely fine and natural. Just let those thoughts come and then let them go and return back to your breath prayer. I rest in you. And then when you're ready, allow the breath just to return back to a gentle, natural rhythm. Bend the knees up, place the feet flat on the floor, little gap between the feet and the knees. And then from here, we're going to do some pelvic tilts, beginning to mobilize the lower back. So take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, begin to draw the belly button in towards the spine. Allow the pubic bone to lift up, press and flatten the lower back down, scoop the tummy down, getting as much flexion in the lower back as you can. And then gently release all the way back to that neutral position. And for neutral, you're aiming for the pubic bone and the pelvic bones to be as level as feels comfortable for your body. And then just repeating again, scooping the belly button in, lifting the pubic bone, pressing the lower back down. And then releasing back out to neutral. I'm just going to move my hands up and out of the way just to help you see that a little bit more. It's not a huge movement. I'm just starting gently by releasing the lower back, where we can easily hold a lot of tension from our day. If you're familiar with the movement and you want to build in the breath prayer as well, then you can do that. So just repeating that I rest in you as you breathe and you move. If that feels like too many things all at once, then just leave that for now. There's plenty of opportunity to come back to that in the stretching. Now we're going to progress this movement up into shoulder bridge. So taking a breath in to prepare just as you were. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, but then continue that movement, peeling up through the spine, bone by bone, lifting slowly just till the hips, then the knees and the shoulders are in line to not going any higher. The ribs stay tucked in, so there's no flaring of the ribs. So we've lifted up, but we're pretty much in a neutral spine here. Take a breath in at the top, and then as you exhale, slowly coming back down, bone by bone, and then releasing all the way back out into your neutral position. Take a breath in, and then repeating again, just tilting and peeling up. Again, taking your time, articulating up through the spine. Pause at the top. See if you can press slightly through your big toes. Sometimes they lift and it helps hold the knees in alignment. And then peeling back down. And just begin to move and flow with your own breath. You're always inhaling at the top and the bottom and exhaling to travel. I'm going to do 3 or 4 more of those. If you feel now or at any point that you need to take a break, then please do. And then just join back in when you are ready. Always just listening and following your body's signals. Make this next one the last one. And then again, settling back down into neutral. From here, we're going to float the arms up straight above the shoulders, and we're just going to do some gentle shoulder mobility. So fingertips pointing at the ceilings. I want you just to make tiny, tiny circles. Arms are just straight, and then allow the circles to become bigger and bigger, like you're kind of drawing a spiral. But take your time. So if you imagine, we're just mobilizing the top of the shoulder joint. And then you can get bigger and bigger and bigger, keeping going until the thumbs begin to touch. So we're in no way going near the ground. Once you get to that point, go the opposite direction, beginning with those bigger ones you've created. And then making them smaller and smaller and smaller. Coming back to center, stilling them, then turning the palms inwards. And we're going to do some reverse shoulder drops. So from here, as you take a breath into the rib cage, I want you to push your fingertips to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, just allow the shoulders to drop back down. Belly button stays gently drawing in, using our wide Pilates breathing. We're not breathing into the tummy now like we were when we're relaxing, but we're breathing up into the rib cage and keeping that very gentle core connection. And last one. And then still holding this position, we're going to do arm scissors, matching breath to movement, and include your breath prayer in this bit if you can. So just inhaling, one arm goes forward, one goes back. Don't let them touch the floor even if they can. And then exhale, come back up. Inhale, coming open. Exhaling up, inhaling open. And again, moving with your own breath, find your own timing. Just try not to move too quickly, just to give the body a chance to release into it. And then stopping at the center. From here, hug the knees to the chest, holding on behind the thighs, and just begin to rock side to side. And here I want you to begin to move intuitively how you want to move. So you can move quite slowly, you can move quite quickly, you could do a very small movement, almost right in the middle, or you could do a bigger movement. You could even begin to take some circles here, if that feels nice for your body. You're just learning to respond to what our body needs under different amounts of tension, got different things going on every day. So no two practices will be the same. And just going with how you feel. I'll give you guidance, but I'm just trusting that you can move with your own body. And then hold in the center, hold on behind the right knee, place the left foot down and slide away. And this is going to be one of our longer releases. So we're releasing into the hip flexor of the straight leg, the front of the hip, the back of the glute, maybe of the knee that's bent in. And then just let the body soften. Passive and heavy. The breathing will naturally be gentle here because we've a little bit restricted it with the position. Again, you can come back to that breath prayer if you want to. Another few seconds. And from here, we'll bend that left knee up, place the foot flat on the floor, and you can cross the right foot on top, allow the knee to turn out. And you can hold there if that's enough of a release. If you need a deeper release, you can reach through and behind the left thigh. Now, again, this can either just be static, or you can invite a little bit of movement by rocking side to side. That's totally optional. Go with whichever feels better, just move gently and carefully. If you've chosen this second position, it feels like a little bit of a strain, just place the foot back down. And again, if you find your mind busy with things of the day or things coming up ahead tomorrow, just return back to your breath prayer. Just allowing yourself to be fully present with God and with this movement practice. Not fighting with the thoughts, but just letting them go and returning to that prayer. Release the top leg, let it go long. Hug the left knee in towards the chest and settle for this release. Notice your face if you begin to hold any tension in the face. Just check with the jaw between the eyebrows. If the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, let it just drop down. And now when you're ready, bend the right knee up, cross that left foot on top, allow the knee to turn out. And again, either hold there or reach through and behind the right thigh if you want to deepen the release. And then releasing the top leg one more time. Hug the knees in tight towards the chest. This feels comfortable for you. If you want to and you don't have any neck issues at all, you might want to nod the chin to the chest, tuck into you in like a little ball. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, please just leave the head down. If you've lifted the head, gently release it. Place the feet down one at a time. Lengthen the legs one at a time. Stretch both arms overhead, interlace the fingers, and take 2 quite big breaths in and out. And then releasing the arms down by the sides. Bend the knees up, come onto your side, and transition up to seated. So we're going to take a little side stretch to each side here. We'll have the legs straight out in front, fingertips out to the sides, and we'll just reach up and over, letting the arm bend completely underneath you so the shoulder moves down away from the ear. Let's do 2 more to each side. And then we'll just invite a little bit of rotation in. So you can keep the legs straight or you can cross them, or you can bring the soles of the feet together, knees out in long frog. Up to you, just whichever feels best. And then we'll take one hand, doesn't matter which, to the opposite knee, and you can use it as a gentle lever to rotate to the side. Just looking in the direction your spine is twisting. Take a breath in and out. Come back to the center and we'll swap sides and do the same again. One more to each side. Just notice you can see half of Barney, our dog. You'll see him quite a lot. Good. And then from here, we're going to come round and into 4-point kneeling. So let's just run through our neutral spine in this position. It's the hardest to find. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the pelvic bones. So we want to have those nice natural curves of the spine. So if we do a bit of cat and cow stretching first, so rounding and stretching, flexing the spine, then coming the opposite way through to a small extension, just as much as feels comfortable. And keep doing that a few times. Again, just moving at your own pace with your own depth of movement that feels good. And then make that smaller and smaller and smaller until you're just about in the middle. So your pubic bone, your pelvic bones are level, just like when we're laying down. And then for the shoulders, just push away from the ground slightly, particularly through the little fingers. Slide the shoulder blades down away from the ears so they're connected. And then just take a couple of deep breaths. In and out. At the end of your exhale, notice that the belly button naturally just draws up. And then keep hold of that core connection, and then allow the breath to come wide into the rib cage. Good. From here, we're going to lengthen the right leg out behind, but we're going to hold our spine and pelvis in neutral. Hook the toes under and just rock gently backwards and forwards, nice and slowly. And again, keep the shoulders down, keep the belly button lifting. And then once you're back to center, place back down nice and carefully, swap sides. Back to center, swap legs again, lengthen out behind you and hold. This time, take the leg across to the outside of the opposite foot, and then look towards that foot so you've like a banana shape. Take a big breath in to the ribs, stretching, feeling how the breath creates the stretch. And then exhale back and swap sides. Lengthen the other leg, take it across the body, look towards it, take a breath in. Stretch the ribs, exhale, coming back, and then push back into rest position. So sit on the heels. You might want to circle the wrists a couple of times. You don't have to. Let the head totally relax down if you want. Opposite direction with the wrists. And then come back up into 4-point kneeling. And we're going to do our minute of free movement. So if you practice with me before, you know that I do this every session. So just for 1 minute, you're going to move however you want. And your only guidelines is that you keep your feet and your knees down. So you can move any way you want, swaying side to side, doing circles, big movements, small movements, fast or slow. If you really need more and you just want to move more, you can include hooking the toes under and lifting the knees, and that will give you more kind of choices of ways to move. That's only if you need it, but you can get a lot of movement in this position. Keep it just nice and restorative. Draw the belly button in to support the lower back, and just do whatever you want. Last few seconds. And then back to center. One more time back into rest position. This time you might want to try stacking your hands or your fists to make a little platform for the head. Let the shoulders drop and come back to your breath prayer here as the body is at complete rest. And then from here, we're going to come all the way onto our front and just do one movement to really help open out the front of the body, strengthen the back of the body. So it's a good antidote to any sort of sitting, this movement. It's called dart. So for dart, we have toes together, heels out to the side. If that's not comfortable, you can just leave the legs in parallel. Let the forehead come all the way down, palms face upwards. Take a breath in. As you exhale, slide the nose along the mat. Begin to rotate at the shoulders, bring the heels in and the hands into you in a big straight line. Reach through the crown of the head so you're long rather than high, and then gently release back down. And then repeat, keeping the belly button drawing up towards the spine to support the lower back. And remember, you can always take a rest or a break or miss things out if they don't feel good for you. Just 2 more. And then releasing down, final time back into rest position. Couple of breaths, just releasing the lower back. And then from here, we're going to come up and around one more time into seated. So making our way up and around and into seated. And we're going to do a supportive spine stretch forwards. So you can have the legs straight or in long frog like I am, with the soles of the feet together, the knees out to the side. Let the hands rest on the legs, let the shoulders drop, and find some length and lift up out through the crown of the head. Allow the shoulders to soften down the back. Feel that lengthening at the back of the neck, that the head, the ribs, and the pelvis are really stacked. Take a breath in. As you exhale, move sequentially. Look down first, nod the chin to the chest. Begin to come down bone by bone, pulling the belly button back. Get all the spinal flexion you can first, and then when you've fully got as much movement as you can and you're just stuck, then you can move from the hip joint and flex forwards as much as feels comfortable for you. And then rebuild at the hips first, so the pelvis feels upright, keep the core working, and then reverse the movement, lengthening the spine, let the shoulders drop, look forwards, and then we'll do that again. So really take your time with this. It's easy to just lean forward, but try and get the spinal articulation first. Scooping, the more you pull the tummy in, the more movement you'll get in the lumbar spine. And coming forwards. And let's just do one more. Good. And then from here, we're going to transition down and onto our back. So bending the knees back up. You can either roll down through the spine if that's comfortable for you, or you can come onto your side, transition down, and then come onto your back. I'm going to do a little bit more rotation with a hip twist. So feet, knees, and thighs together. Allow the arms to come out to the side, drop the shoulders. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, knees one way. Look over the opposite shoulder. Inhaling back to center. And then exhaling over to the other side. Inhaling back to center, exhaling over to the other side. Try not to let the feet or the knees slip apart. So the pelvis is staying in position and the rotation is in the mid-spine, the thoracic spine. Good, keep the shoulders heavy. One more to each side. Back to center. Bring the little gap back between the feet and the knees, arms down by the side. We're going to do a little bit of a hamstring stretch. So I want you to be really gentle with the body. If the muscles feel unsafe, if there's that real tension and gripping, they just grip tighter and you get less benefit. So you want to feel that it's maybe 60% of what you could do. Never any shaking or pain. Let's hug the right knee in towards the chest, hold on behind the thigh, and we'll keep the left knee bent. Begin to very slowly lengthen that leg up above you until you get a stretch around the back of the knee and the hamstring, wherever that is. And then if you feel comfortable, you can lengthen the left leg away, which will make it more intense. That's available if you want to. Just breathing nice and deeply. Come back to your breath prayer. I rest in you. Slowly begin to bend the knee, place it back down, and then hug the left knee in, hold on behind the thigh. Slowly extend the leg up above you until you're happy you've got a gentle stretch. And then if you want to, you can lengthen the opposite leg away, and that's optional too. Good. Come back to your breath prayer. And then bend the knee, hug it in towards the chest, bring the other one in as well, and just circle the ankles. Good, and opposite direction. And then relaxing them. We're going to move into a bit of relaxation now before our examine. So you're going to lay like we did at the beginning in a way that's comfortable for you. But if you want a cushion for your head, if you want a blanket over you, if you want a jumper, then just please go ahead and get those. I'm going to grab my cardigan as well, and just get really, really comfy. Cushion at the back of the knees is really nice. So I'm going to sit up just so you can hear me more clearly, but you lay down however you're comfortable. And we're going to do some breathing, some deep belly breathing, how we were before, but I'm going to encourage you to count your breath. So I'm not going to count it for you because I want you to go as slow as you can, and that's going to look differently for each of you. But what I want you to do is begin to breathe in through the nose, dropping the breath to the belly for a count of 4 as slowly as you can until you can't get any more breath in. Once you get to the top, take a micro pause and then exhale slowly for 4 until you feel you've got no breath left. You'll feel your deep abdominals actually kick in when you get to the end of your exhale. And I'm going to leave you to do this for 1 minute. And again, I'm just going to be silent as you do that. One more deep, slow breath in and out. Hopefully you feel sleepy. And then just let the breath be really natural, no effort at all. It'll probably go quite gentle after the effort of that deep, full breathing that we don't do enough of. And from here, I'm going to lead you through an examine practice. So to begin, I'm going to invite you to welcome God to lead and guide you through this time, through your memories and your imagination as you track back over your day, just in your own way. And then as you scan back over your day, starting when you got up and like a movie just playing through, what do you feel that you're grateful for from today? Where did you find life, a sense of presence and connectedness and groundedness? It can be the smallest of things, and you can choose one thing or a couple of things and just allow them to rise to the surface, giving thanks. Where was the presence of God, the fruits of the Spirit in your day? And then once again, scanning back over your day, but this time just noticing and recognizing what was hard. Maybe what brought a sense of disconnection or frustration or lack of the presence of God. Allowing those things to rise to the surface, processing our emotions. And again, there's nothing too small. If it was hard for you, then it matters. Allowing it to come up and just rest in the kindness of God, holding it together rather than alone. And then just as you've scanned back over your day, I just want you to hold out tomorrow. And let's just pray our breath prayer over our tomorrow. Just that I rest in you. Whatever will be ahead, those moments of consolation and desolation and everything in between. And just allowing our minds and our feelings and our bodies to just rest in the presence of God, whatever it will hold. I'm just going to pray a small prayer over you, and then I will end this practice. And if you want to reach out to me with any questions or feedback, please feel free to do that. You can leave it in the comments below or via Facebook Messenger. So Lord, I just thank you for everybody who's practicing tonight and in the future. And I pray you bless them with rest and sleep. And pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.